Hello to everybody out there in internet land. This is Mr. Grice, and we are talking about Algebra 2, Section 1.1, Notes, Part 2. Okay, today we're going to be talking about multiplying and dividing fractions and mixed numbers, and then adding and subtracting fractions and mixed numbers. Okay? Alright, so let's get started with the multiplying. Now the steps that we need to go when we're multiplying is to make sure that when we write the mixed number, it's as an improper fraction, to reduce if it's possible, and then to multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. And then make sure our answer is in lowest terms. Okay? So for number one, do we have to change this into an improper fraction? Or is it ready to go? It's ready to go. Okay? So when we reduce step number 2, we're going to look at the kitty corners to see if we can reduce the 10 and the 25 or the 21 and the 21. Okay? So the 10 and the 25, we can actually divide both of those by 5. The 10 becomes a 2 and the 25 becomes a 5. The 21 and the 21, same number. We can change them into 1. We are now multiplying 2 over 1 times 1 over 5. 2 times 1 is 2, and 1 times 5 is 5. And that's it. That one, since it's already in lowest terms, we don't have to do anything to it. Okay, let's look at number 2. We're going to start with the same thing. It's already, it's not a mixed number, so we don't have to change anything. Now, when we're reducing, I want to know, first thing, does the little number, does that go into the big number? So does 8 go into 32? And it does. It goes into 32 4 times. But now, does 15 go into 20? No. The number that goes into 15 and 20 is 5, and goes into 15 3 times, into 20 4 times. So when we rewrite this, it's 1 over 4 times 3 over 4. Multiply those out, and you get 3 over 16. All right, let's move to one where we have to switch it. Number 5. Now, we talked about this on the part 1 of the notes. To change a mixed number to an improper fraction, we're going to use the check mark method. Okay? And in the check mark method, we would be multiplying 4 times 5 plus 2 all over 5. And when we do that, 4 times 5 is 20, plus 2 is 22. Let's do the same thing to our second one. 1 times 8 plus 7 over 8, which gives us 15 over 8. Now we start to see if we can reduce any of these guys. 15 and 5, 1 and 3. Now what goes into both 8 and 22? The correct answer is 2. 2 goes into 8 4 times, and 2 goes into 22 11 times. So we now have 11 over 1 times 3 over 4. And we get 33 over 4. Okay? If you need more help with the multiplying, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. Next, we're going to talk about dividing fractions and mixed numbers. Okay, when you look, the first couple steps are the same thing. Rewrite the mixed number as an improper fraction and reduce. Here is the new part. You're going to change the problem to multiplication by using the reciprocal of the fraction. Okay, and now the word reciprocal, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be flipping up, that's supposed to be a G, flipping the fraction after the division sign. Okay, and then the rest of that, multiply, just like we did. Okay, so here's our first fraction. The first fraction stays the same. We're going to change that to multiplication, but then we have to flip the second fraction. Okay? Now, the rest is the same. We like 3 and the 10. Can those reduce? The 11 and the 8. Can those reduce? The answer is no. And then we just multiply. Multiply across. And then that's in lowest terms, so we can't do anything about that. Okay? Let's look at 10. Now 10's a little different because we've got a whole number. Anytime you see a whole number, to make that into a fraction, you just put a 1 afterwards. Okay? So we're dividing 3 over 2 divided by 9 over 1. Changing it to multiplication, you need to flip the second fraction. Check to see if we can reduce. The 1 and the 2 are in lowest terms, but the 3 and the 9, 3 goes into both of those, so we are now multiplying 1 over 2 times 1 over 3. Multiply those straight across, and you get 1/6. Okay. Now, the key thing here is to only flip after the division sign. Okay? Let's move down to number 12. Okay? Now, looking at 12, both of these are in mixed numbers. So we need to rewrite them, okay, by using the check mark method. So 5 times 4 plus 1 over 4, and then 1 times 13 plus 1 over 13. We get 21 over 4 divided by 14 over 13. Okay, so now what do we have to do to this second fraction? Flip it up. Let's see, can we reduce anything, guys? What do you see? 4 and 13? No, but the 14 and the 21, you can reduce those by 7. So now we have, oh, not 7, Mr. Grice. The 21 is a 3. I'm sorry for the confusion. So 3 over 4 times 13 over 2. Multiply those across, and you get 39 over 8. Okay? Any questions? All right, next thing we're going to work on is adding and subtracting fractions and mixed numbers. You're going to see this first step all the time is to rewrite as a mixed number and reduce. Now, step number 2 says to rewrite the fractions so they have a common denominator. And we've talked about the lowest common denominator. In step 3, add the numerators, but keep the denominator the same, and always make sure that we're in lowest terms. So we're just going to pick a couple here. We'll start with A, just so you can practice. Now, finding the lowest common denominator is when we do the multiples. 4, 8, 12, 16. And what we're looking for is the lowest number that both of them go into, and that is 12. What do you multiply 4 by to get to 12? That's 3. So our answer is going to be 9 over 12. Multiply 6 by 2, and you get 2 over 12. So that's what our lowest common denominator would be. Okay? But for number 15, do they already have common denominators? They do. The denominator stays the same. Add the top. And it's in lowest terms. Okay, number 16. The denominators are the same. So we can go ahead. 17 minus 13 gives us 4. Are we done? No, because this isn't in lowest terms. Okay, so you need to reduce this. Divide it by 2. And you get 2 over 15. Okay, let's move to one of the ones where we have to change things around. Let's look at 19. Okay, now looking at 19, we do not have an LCD, they're not the same. So we have to find it. 8 and 12. 8, 16, 24, 32, and it keeps going. 12, 24, 36. Did we find our LCD? 24. Okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to change our fractions first. You multiply 24 by 2. So you get 22. You multiply 8 by 3. And we get 15. So our new problem is 22 over 24 minus 15 over 24. The denominator's the same. We do not change it. And now 22 minus 15 is 7. And we cannot reduce that. Okay? Let's look at number 20 real quick. Now, 20 is a mixed number. So the first thing we have to do is to change those. Okay? So 6 times 8 plus 7 gives us 55 over 8. And 3 times 2 plus 1 gives us 3 times 2, 6 plus 1 is 7. Now let's take a look. Do we have the same denominator? We do not. So let's find the LCD of 8 and 2. And we want the lowest one. So 2, 4, 6, 8. And right away, we see 8. Now, do we have to change 55 over 8? that stays the same. You multiply by 4. 7 times 4 is 28. So 55 over 8 minus 28 over 8. Remember that the denominator stays the same. And if you cannot do 55 minus 28, we're going to do it the old school way. Okay, you have to borrow. Get 7. This changes to a 4. And we're left with 27 over 8. And that does not reduce. Okay, now that's it for chapter 1.1, part 2. If you need assistance with this, make sure you come in for help. Mr. Grice is here always before school, and Miss Carranza stays after. Okay? Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Thanks for watching.